me some time to get to the place that you wanted me to be. I know it was never you. I just needed to work on me. But now I'm ready. I'm ready to love.
Oh, we heard you, Shareese. Oh, we heard you. Listen, hey guys, welcome to LITTLEBLACKBOOK91. We are sitting down with Shareese from the latest Make a Move Season 1. Yes, it was an explosive season. The ladies got to choose the men, or at least it seemed like they chose the men who they were going to date and see who would be worthy of them moving to NOLA. And things took a little bit of a twist. Some people were trying to pull other people to other cities and other places. And some people had, Louis Vuitton and Gucci connections. Other people, fell in love at a different place. But, all in all, it was an amazing season to watch from our perspective. So I've interviewed some of the gentlemen, and I'll probably interview a few more. But I now have one of the ladies on the show. And that young, beautiful, fine lady is Shareese. And if you've been watching this Little Black Book show before, you know we've had her on before. So it means today we're going to go straight in. We're not going to do it in the background. We're going to go straight in. But Shareese, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me. Nice to see you.
That's what I love to hear. It's nice to see you too, and a smile and the looks looking all good, the hair looking all on point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm ready to love.
No, you're ready to love. I love it. All right. Well, as always, we like to do a thing called human verification because before we get into any of the RTL stuff, got to make sure you're a human being. So, I'm going to ask a few verifying questions. So my very first question for you, Shareese, is if you're on a plane and you want it to land in a particular country, anywhere you want it to land, right? It doesn't have to be for survival purposes. You can land anywhere. Where would you want that plane to land?
Bali.
Ooh.
In the middle of Bali, just in nature, just in Bali, just land and let me run wild.
Okay, Bali, I like it. Why? Bali have you been Bali before?
No, I've never been, but I love nature. I just love the way it looks. It looks beautiful, like with all the water and the forests and just trees and nature. I love it.
Love it. Bali. Okay, fantastic. My second question is, what is Shareese's favorite meal?
My favorite meal would have to be pasta.
Any particular pasta? Because there's quite a few different pastas out there.
I like clam pasta.
Oh, clam pasta.
That's my favorite. Any type of pasta, really. I love pasta. Any type of pasta is my favorite meal.
Okay. I'm building a little profile here. Pasta's good for you. All right. And what would you say is Shareese's favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant, would have to be this Italian restaurant that's here. It's called El Gabbiano's. I would have to say El Gabbiano's. Yeah.
Oh, El Gabbiano's. Yeah, let me write that down as well. El Gabbiano's. Well, it looks like you've passed our human verification. We believe you are a human being, a beautiful one at that. Shareese, I want to get straight into this because, this particular season has been explosive, right? There's been a lot of things that have involved yourself and other, castmates as well. But before we get into that, I want to know, why did you decide to go on to Ready to Love, Make a Move, like the second time? Like, what made you want to go a second time with RTL?
Because I figured, why not? I didn't want to give up on love. I had already done it once. So I thought maybe this is a second chance. And I learned from my first experience. So, you grow when you have different dating experiences. And I felt like I've grown, and that I'm ready to still keep, trying to find someone. And I figured if I couldn't find him in Miami, maybe he's in New Orleans, a different kind of guy,
I love that. And fair enough, yeah. You never know. New Orleans might be a better surrounding for yourself as well. You said obviously that you had learned. I want to know, Shareese, between season 1, was it Miami, and then between this particular season, What did Shareese actually learn in that process, in between that processes, between those two different shows? What did you learn?
I think the first time around, I was very naive. I was very vulnerable, and I was just very, just ready and just want somebody. And I was trying really hard, but I didn't ask the right questions. I wasn't as open as I would have wanted to be because I didn't feel comfortable opening up, to be honest, in that short amount of time. So I think from experiencing it the first time and going back and doing it again, I said, well, this time I'm going to be more conscious of the questions that I'm asking and look out for the red flags. I feel like the first time it was more like I was trying to get people to like me. And then this time I was like, well, let me see if, now it's, I get to choose who I like, you know, and just not just pick the first person who comes along, and kind of settle, which is how I felt. I left Ready to Love saying I'm not going to settle because I could have picked Samson, I could have picked someone when I was on Ready to Love. I could have left with him at the very end, but I chose to be true to myself and say, this doesn't feel right. And so let me leave this and see how it comes back to me. And
I love that. Now, you obviously said about being open, and I actually did a live today about, opening up and being more vulnerable and how difficult it can be.
yeah.
Take us a little bit onto that journey in terms of your kind of process and journey of learning how to maybe be a bit more open. What's that been like for you?
I think that for me, a person who had never really, I struggle with vulnerability, right? So I learned that from season one, from the first time I was on Ready to Love, that vulnerability is just not a good thing for me until it takes me time to be vulnerable, and I have to like build up some trust and build up. So I think it's very courageous to date, especially in public, like it's very courageous to even do a show and date and be open like this. So for me, I said, because I'm more of a private person. So I said, well, this is a chance for me to open up a little bit more and be vulnerable. And maybe I will get a little further if I just don't be afraid. Because when you're vulnerable, you have to have courage. It takes courage to be vulnerable. And I said I was going to have more courage and just, open up more to these guys when if the opportunity presented itself. Because you can't go opening yourself up to any old thing and any old body. I'm always going to stand on that,
I definitely hear that. So obviously, before you get to RTL, then had you been dating, and what if you have been dating? What was that like?
Oh,
I
yes.
guess. What was that like for you in that space then? Because obviously you've been on the show already, so.
Right. So after being on the show, dating got very interesting. I guess it definitely opened me up to more men, more DMs, even like in public. If I go to a bar and it's like a cigar bar, 2 or 3 men in there, like, I saw you on that show, so it's kind of cool because I got to make more like men friends, which is important when you're dating. And I think it just opened me up to having an experience because I think I didn't have a lot of experience. I don't have a lot of experience dating. I tend to be in a relationship for a long time, or I tend to take a long break. Like before, I took 4 years off before I started dating again. So I didn't have a lot of experience, and I figured I use these shows to get more dating experience. And it definitely, I mean, I didn't have to go online anymore once I hit the show. Because it opens up to more people. But the flip side is some of these guys, they don't want to date women who are on shows. They look at it like, or they see all the conflict that I had with the ladies, and it's kind of hard for them to get past that. It's like, oh, she gonna snap. But at least they know.
At least they know, just up front. You know what I mean? You know what you're getting.
Yeah, with Shareese, what you see is what you get. She has no filter.
What's that like then, being, because you said obviously like being more vulnerable in that dating phase in between obviously the shows and stuff. What's that been like for you, being vulnerable and then dating? Because like you said, now people know you as well. That also makes it even more harder than before. Beforehand, you didn't have to show. People already might come with preconceived ideas. What's that like, trying to be vulnerable and trying to date in that space when now people kind of know you as well.
It's not easy because you want to make sure that people are around you for the right reasons.
Mm,
I think that it's definitely not easy. I'm still a little guarded in that way because you just don't want to get hurt. But I think I put my guards down in terms of saying I don't want to get hurt. So my vulnerability has been just avoiding it, like not
I
wanting
hear
to
it.
be vulnerable, right? So I feel like I just really put myself back out there. And I gave all these guys a fair chance. Like I didn't have anything to hide. I never have anything to hide. I'm just going to be myself. So I think, vulnerability is just a scary word.
It's a big word. Can't lie to you. It's a big word, and there's a lot
Right.
of us who suffer with that. So you're not the only one who's trying to make sense of that space as well. So well done for you for moving forward and trying to grow in that space as well, because it's not easy,
Yeah.
to do that. So
It's
for you,
not.
then obviously, you get to then come on to RTL for that second time. Did you have a game plan in mind? When I say game plan, not necessarily like you were thinking about how to win, but more of a how am I going to be able to, how am I going to be able to maneuver in this space the second time round? Like, I know you mentioned about, some of the changes, but for you, did you have a mindset that I'm going to move like this?
I thought that things were going to be different, honestly, because I figured it's less women, it was just 4 instead of 10 this time. So you're hoping, and then we were all living together, which is different for me because I don't, I've never lived with anyone, right? So I thought my game plan going into it was just really, just to be myself and to be open, and try my best to avoid any conflict. But when you have personalities, it's just that's just the way it's always going to be. And sometimes you have to get into conflict. I mean, that's a part of being vulnerable. Saying, "Hey, I'm gonna take the gloves off, and we can fight, and we can talk. I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna run. I'm gonna let you know how I feel." Um,
I would love
so
to know, because conflict is something that happened on the show, right? It's what makes it's what let's not lie. It's what also makes a show. It's why people tune in as well, right? So as much as the Ready to Love is about love, go for it. You're gonna say go for it, Shareese. Go, yeah, you can go.
no, I was gonna say another thing I said I was doing different with these guys this time because before it was like I wasn't talking enough. This time I said I'm gonna open up and talk more and ask the questions. Before I was just laying back and being cool about it. This time I said, let me talk more. Let me just open up and see, if that can, spark something more and help me this time around instead of just, listening and just like playing that game where I'm just hard to get and I'm quiet. I said, let me talk to these guys and really open up. So I think this time around, my game plan was just to be open, to be a lot more open, less guarded, less suspicious, and just and just like, just try to put my heart into it.
I
Yeah.
love that. So your game plan was almost kind of to try and put some new inputs to get a different output and talking with the gentleman as well.
Yeah.
Did you notice a difference in the response that you were getting when you put yourself in that position of maybe being more of a
Absolutely.
talkative person and actually, yeah?
Yeah. And
Let us
these
know about that. What was that like?
Well, these guys in New Orleans were so different. They're so gentlemen, and they do talk. You meet a lot of men and they just don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to open up or share or talk about themselves. I know I struggle with that because I don't want people to feel like I'm bragging or I'm grandstanding, or I don't want people to be intimidated when I say, I'm Shareese, I own a business, I have this, I have that, I live here. That's all just so much that I try to just make people feel comfortable that, hey, listen, like how we started, I'm a real person. You don't have to be intimidated by my looks. Maybe if you see what's in my heart and in my mind, not, what I look like, then I can get somewhere with somebody. So That was important to me because I feel like I get judged a lot, and I did get judged on my first season. I think guys just look at me automatically and she's this, she's that, she did that. But I think the guys in New Orleans really gave me a chance because I was interested in them and I talked to them and I gave them that respect and I made them feel, important and heard and seen. I treated them the way that I wanted to be treated. And that's what I got in return.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love
It
it
was very,
because that's growth.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time.
All right, I like it. I'm liking what I'm hearing, Shareese. You know what I'm saying? I'm liking what I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know it's not easy. I really do understand it's not easy, like being vulnerable, right? And it's not easy, obviously, sharing and changing things to make sure you get a different result. It's easier to stay in the same place and do what you did before because it's an area of comfort. That's what I'm saying. I could really understand. There's a change of the way that you're doing things, and I see that it's brought about a different result as well. In fact, you're the only one that brought a different result. So, you know,
And it gave me and listen, like how we started out, I'm human, right? It gave me a chance to say, listen, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I don't want anybody who's perfect, but it gives me a chance to go back and see myself and improve, see where I can grow and become a better person. And so for that, I'm grateful. That's it.
okay, that's interesting. Looking back at your season, you went obviously you might have gone back over it. What was that like looking at yourself there? What did you observe? What
This
did you
time, this
kind of
time,
see?
what I saw was with the dating, I said, this is great, because you meet somebody. And I thought all my dates were great. I thought it's so cool to get to know people, but to be able to say gracefully, it was nice to meet you, but this is not for me. I'm moving in another direction. It was hard at times because a lot of these guys had a lot to offer. It just wasn't a good fit.
Okay.
Right. And so I think seeing myself this time, I thought I could see the growth, even doing the whole experience. That was one of the things I told Maurice was that I could see how I've grown because of the kind of men that I'm attracting and the kind of experiences that I'm having. And I think sometimes as women, we have to look at ourselves. And I always look at myself because I'm the only person I can change. I can't change a man. I can't change anyone. I can only change myself. And change is good because it's growth, not in a negative way. And so I just think that, this time around, when I look back, I definitely had to stop allowing people being so reactive. But I think a lot of times when I look back, I have people trying to tell my story or tell me who I am or create my narrative. And that's just not fair to me. A lot of times I just felt like, where's all this coming from? You don't even really know me for this much to have come to surface. But as far as me, I don't ever want to see myself allow anyone to get me so upset that I have to yell and scream. Like, I don't ever want to do that again. I don't think that that is a good quality to have. So now I've learned to I'm a very passionate person. So when I get upset, I can get a little fiery. But I've learned to just when I feel it coming on, to just breathe and just kind of calm myself down and come back to the situation. A lot of times I think it bulls up because I don't say anything right away. I don't say anything right away. So it'll fester and fester that when it does come out, it's explosive. And I've done had enough. I've had enough of your shit and I want you to just take your shit somewhere else. And so I think, moving forward, I will definitely be more open to, because I try to avoid conflict. And people who try to avoid conflict, you're going to hit it dead on. And that's what I saw. I see myself trying to avoid conflict and instead of avoiding it, just creating it.
No, listen, I love that,
And
and
there's a
it's
lot of
crazy
things
because
that happen, and then you go to film. There's a lot of things that happen, and then you go to film, and then it all just comes out because you're forced to be in the situation, you know? And so sometimes it looks worse than what it is. But I do feel like in this situation, you have a lot of big personalities, and everybody wants to be heard and everybody wants to be seen. And, watching that reunion, it was extremely painful for me because I felt like it wasn't extremely painful, but I felt you could see that I never even really got a chance to talk. Only time I got a chance to talk was when Maurice came out there. Everybody else was telling my story. Everybody else was talking about me and what I was doing. I didn't get a chance to say, listen, I really did not want that to happen. And I never felt like anybody was ganging up on me because I can hold my own. I don't need to fit in. I don't define myself as one thing because I'm so many things, and that's who I am. And if people would give me a chance to show them who I am or tell them who I am, then they would see that. But I really didn't stand a chance with the conflicts that I got into. Um, and they were really just immature misunderstandings, you know, that it should have never happened, but it did. And I'm the
Do
first to
you
say,
think?
mhm.
Oh, go, no, no, go on. Continue thought. Sorry, continue thought, please.
No, I just feel like, if you come for me, I'm gonna give you what you came for. But I gotta learn how to be a bigger person sometimes and just, or at least get my point across in a calm way. Yeah.
No, okay, no, I get that. Okay, so interesting enough, obviously, conflict which conflict happened in your first season's conflict obviously happened this season, and as you said, obviously that sometimes you feel like you're not being able to talk. Is there a link for you? Is there a link between the Zoe case and the Zadia case in terms of your actual feelings in those scenarios?
I don't think so. I think with Zoe, it was more so unwanted and it was uncalled for. It was definitely something that I feel like that was a projection because that anger that he had towards me, it was not even worth it. It wasn't that serious for him to do that. And so I just look at that like that I wasn't wrong. That I can definitely say he's the asshole for creating that drama. But with the Zadia thing, I think that we just didn't get along. I think it was a clash. I think she already came with her pre-notions about me from seeing me on my season. I didn't even really, it was foggy to me who she was. I had to remember, oh, that's the girl with the whole blah, 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 blah. But we had no idea who was going to be there. I didn't know who the other three girls were. They knew I was going to be there, but I didn't know they were going to be there. I had no idea who they were. I didn't do my research. I didn't gossip or try. And day one with Zadia, the vibe was just off. Like with Ashley and Vernisha, it was like instantly we understood each other. Because I'm the type of person that, listen, I like everybody. I give everybody a chance. Like I don't show favoritism. I love everybody. I'm a people's people. Like I just love people, and I think people are interesting. But I felt like with her and it was right away a clash because the second day that we went in that dressing room, and she said to me, you're doing this and you're doing that, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know any of this. And I think it was because she had already had a pre-notion about me. And we got into it off camera more than we did on camera. And it just spilled over on camera.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
yeah, and it just got messy. And honestly, the whole thing with Cam, to be honest, I went that night after she asked us if he could come over, and I said, no, I'm not comfortable with that. She's absolutely right. We had already talked about it that night. She's absolutely right. She said, no, she said, I'll just leave and go there if you don't feel comfortable with him coming here. And I said, great. For me, that's a lesson learned too. Like, we're women. You're dating a guy you just met. Don't bring him to your house. I'm going to stand on that. I'm sorry. I'm going to stand on that. I don't think it's cool. I'm not a teenager. I'm a grown woman. People are crazy, right? All I did was go to the producers and ask them. I didn't go say, let me tell you what happened. I'm snitching. I'm a snitch. this girl is trying to leave with a guy. She's trying to let guys in the house. I just went to them and asked them, are guys going to be able to come into the house? But she made it look like I went and snitched on her. I was a snake. I went behind her back. Honey, I'm not going behind your back. I went to the landlord. I'm going to the damn, we all stand in the house together. I'm going to the landlord, to the people that's responsible, who's paying for me to be here, to find out if guys are coming in this house. This is the second day we're in the house. But she made me look like I was snaking her. I was trying, and that was not the truth. That was not the truth. And I absolutely did not like her attitude, the way she spoke to me, the way she told me to open up the door and all of that. I didn't like it. And I told her, and I had a right to tell her.
Okay, before we get to that point and get deep, thank you for sharing that first of all. Before we get to that point deeper, let's just rewind a little bit, right? So again, I'm just trying to, because I want everyone to understand where you're coming from, Shareese, as well at the same time, right? So okay, Zoe one, you were, let's say you were freed from that one, right? But then you also had a situation with Caden as well, your season. So are there similarities between what happened with Caden and also what happened with Zadia in terms of
absolutely. With the sugar daddy?
Okay.
Absolutely.
No, sugar daddy.
Absolutely. With the sugar daddy thing, the difference with the sugar daddy thing is I said it. Yeah, I threw her ass under the bus, But with Zadia, I really was not trying to throw her under the bus at all. That was not. The host is the one who decided to bring it up to her. So that's who she should have been mad at. But she was mad at me because the host brought it up. Did anybody stay here last night? Yada, yada, yada. But I'm open book. Like, I didn't feel like I was snitching on her or doing anything wrong or telling her business. But I think she took it that way. But we were able to get past it. It was just the way we communicated with each other. It wasn't good.
So obviously, let's run through that Zadia situation, right? Because I think obviously that is a very big part of the season as well, right? So in the very beginning, you have a conversation with the girls, and is it with the girls first and then the producers? Just so we get an idea of what happened. So did you tell the girls first about your sentiments towards the housing situation?
No, she brought it up. So this is when we weren't filming at night. We're in the house, we're in our pajamas, we're drinking. It's like 12 a.m. We had just seen all the guys. She said, homeboy is going to come over here. She said, do y'all mind if any guys come over here? I said, no. I do mind. I spoke up. I said, yes, I do mind. I don't want guys coming in the house. I would prefer not. And she said, okay, cool. I'll just go over there. And then it was all the other things that she did after that I said, you know what? Just let me go upstairs and go to my room. It was just a bunch of immature, the way that she does what she does, not on camera.
What things happens? Because we need to understand what.
She just does things that make you want to be like, we can take it there, She does. Like how she said I wasn't a sister, and then she started this whole brown girls thing. And I'm like, okay, maybe Zadia is trying to upset me and take me out of character. And she did.
Wait, the brown girls thing, was that your seat? Are you talking about that was happening on your seat? Or are you talking about that previously? Okay. So you're saying that, so again, just to make it clear, so when you have that conversation, when she says to you, are you okay with someone coming round, and you say, no, you're not okay, from that point, what happens? Because clearly she's agreed to the sentiment that you don't want anybody around. She's honoring that particular request. What happens next then? Because I'm just trying to understand what happens in that space.
Next she goes to his house instead of him coming over. In which we were free to do whatever we wanted to do. And I was trying, I should have just said it, but I was trying not to throw her under the bus. I was trying not to tell her business, but I should have just said, I was really just trying to not make it get so big and, tell her business. But it's just like, I had no other choice once we started talking about it on the couch. And I still didn't throw her under the bus. I still didn't say, you did leave out last night with Cameron. I knew she was with Cameron when she was sitting on that couch telling Tamika when she was asking her, did you leave or didn't you not leave? I didn't say one word, because I didn't want to be blamed for that or attacked for that.
So after
that, then that's when I made a phone call to the producer and
after
said,
you already sat on the couch.
No. This is before the couch.
Okay.
This is when she said she didn't want any guys to come over. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, we're only there. This is our first night staying in the house. So I'm thinking, is this how it's going to be? We don't know. I'm like, are the guys coming or not? Is this okay? So I called the producer to ask him, is it okay if guys come to the house? And he said, why? I said, because Zadia wanted a guy to come over, and I said that I didn't want it to happen. I just want to know. And that's really how everybody else knew. I didn't just go snitch on her or, and then it came up when Tamika asked her, what was I supposed to say?
I mean, maybe not say anything, but I'm not saying necessarily have to say anything, but do you see how obviously the link here is that once you go to the producer, you guys already had a conversation. You guys could have agreed on a principle of being, okay, no guys come round.
Making sure, could you see how I'm just going, because Zadia or me are not responsible for us being in that house. Could you see how I'm just going to the producers, because this is my second day in New Orleans. I don't know nobody, really. I'm there. I'm a grown woman now. I'm a responsible person with a life and a dog who depends on me. And I'm just going to find out. What's the harm in that? What's the harm in me?
Because there's a way you could have done it without throwing Zadia into it. You could have asked the producers, are we allowed to bring people round? And then you could have said, and then say, oh, but you've mentioned Zadia's name in that, because you then mentioned that the fact that Zadia wants to bring someone over.
Why are you asking that? Why are you asking that? And I'm like, well, because I want to know. You don't have to say Zadia's name.
You don't say Zadia's name. You could have easily said, listen, hey, some of us girls are thinking about it, wondering if we're allowed to do that. That would have been protecting the team.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. That would have been protecting the team, Shareese.
I guess for me,
it's like if someone's, it's like, oh, sorry, go for it.
I just feel like we don't have anything to hide. And like, what was the harm in me double checking?
None. There's no harm in double checking.
What was the harm in me saying that it was her? What if it was me?
But you exposed her by doing that. See, if let's say me and you have a conversation.
Wrong. What is she doing wrong? What did I actually expose?
It's not that she's doing anything wrong.
Told something and I'm turning her into the police.
No, but it's a case of understanding that not everyone wants their business in a situation out like that. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's wrong or not doesn't make a difference. It's whether they want it.
Situation. How is that private? But I'm not gonna go to Zadia for answers. I'm going to the people that I'm staying in their house, is what I'm trying to say. I'm staying in your house. This is your show. So I want to know how the show is gonna go. Zadia couldn't give me those answers. So it wasn't even really about her. It wasn't about her. It was about me just trying to find out if guys were going to be able to come over to the house throughout this process and while we're staying together.
And that's all you needed to say. That's all you needed to say, Shareese. I can't lie to you. Because if me and you are talking, right? If me and you are talking and you say something about someone or whatever, right? I don't need to drag your name into it. I can just say, listen, bro, situation I've been hearing, there's a couple of things that's happening. Person might ask me who it is. I'll say, no, just heard a few things, bro. That's all. I'm going to protect you as a person because I don't want the person to be exposed. When I don't want someone to be exposed, I don't bring their name into the situation, regardless of whatever happens.
I didn't know that it was an exposure. It's not like she got in trouble for it. It was just a clarification. You act like she was going to go to jail for it. Like, I think it's a problem if I was snitching to her parents, or I don't know. I just didn't see it like I was snitching, or like I feel like I was getting clarification. But
so we're not talking about when you were in the moment. So in the moment,
because we were
that was how you felt.
Staying in the house. They knew it wasn't Renisha. They knew it wasn't Ashley. Like, It's not like I purposely mentioned her name. I swear.
Well, if they didn't know, why would you need to say her name, Shareese? This is what. Do you get? Do you get why people are gonna have an issue with what you're saying? Because it's like if they already knew, you didn't have to say anything. So the whole point is that in inadvertently, the reason why people are gonna say that you kind of dry snitched about the situation is because you didn't have to mention a person's name. You could have inquired without bringing somebody into the situation. And let's just say, in the moment, you made a mistake. Looking back on it, you should be able to see like, okay, you know what, I can see where maybe I exposed the person. Now, of course, it wasn't a beef or anything, but I can see where I exposed the person. That's what people are really looking at. They're going to look at like,
Okay,
in the moment, we understand what you're saying.
That was not my intent. That was not my intent. So maybe that's why I couldn't see it, because I felt that I was just going to get clarification. But I'm not making up excuses. If you feel like I threw her under the bus, I know that that wasn't my intention at all. That wasn't.
Did you
my
apologize
intention.
after?
Of course. That's why we ended up, being friends and talking again.
Oh, like on the show. So when it
Yeah,
happened,
like,
after
remember,
the
I went
situation
to
cleared
her
up.
birthday. After that, we patched it up. Honestly, if I knew that that was going to create that wedge and that was going to create that drama, I would have never, ever, ever, ever mentioned it to the producers ever. That was not my intention.
Okay.
It's not like I was out to get her. And I don't like that it looks like that. Like, that's the honest to God truth. But I did tell her that I apologized. I did.
Okay.
He felt like I was
Okay.
bus.
Okay,
That
so
wasn't
bring us into your perspective here. So after the situation happens,
Mhm.
then obviously Tamika obviously then says about the thing. We know that Zadia lied about the situation in that moment. After that, is there an apology that comes then after that, or are you want an apology that happens later on? Does an apology happen then? And I don't mean literally right there on the
I
couch, but
mean,
I
there's a
mean
scene.
your
You
next
can see
conversation.
a scene where we literally where we literally moved past it. Yeah, we actually apologized. Yeah, I
Okay.
apologized.
Okay. So you apologized, and did she accept the apology at the time?
Mhm.
Okay. So y'all had patched it up. It was good. You came to a better place, and you guys had moved from that particular place, right? It seemed to be
Mhm.
all good. Okay.
Seems to be all good.
It seems to be all good. Where is the next part? Because obviously we saw the kitchen situation, but that was still part of I'm guessing, the couch situation. What happened in the kitchen that was, because it seemed
That
like it was
was
really heated, but I heard it was more heated off camera. So,
that was the kitchen. That was the kitchen scene. Was about the telling that she left out, or telling about her wanting somebody to come into the house. That was what the kitchen scene was about.
okay, so it's an allegiance with it. So was there, because obviously she said at the time, she doesn't feel like you're
A sister.
a sister. Why was
Mhm.
that so painful for you to hear that?
Because it was also like that's how she had already been treating me. So it was like, okay, so now you're admitting it. You're admitting that this is how you feel. You've been showing me that this is how you feel about me. So now you're verbalizing it. So all these little subtle attacks, this is where it's coming from. And it was upsetting because again, it was like it just felt like she was picking, just trying to pick with me. It felt like a jab.
So you felt like that when she made that comment, it was to hit you below the belt in a sense, just kind of
Hmm.
like to hurt you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you said obviously that it also because it felt like it was a, I guess, an agreement, or her almost owning up to the fact that she had been mishandling you before this point.
Hmm. I
When you
think it's
say when you s- Yeah, go for it. Yeah, you go
I
for it.
think
Sorry.
it's something like she had already just judged me based on the people she was talking to, based on her friends and based on my season. I think she just had already determined who I am and what I was about instead of seeing for herself who I am and what I'm about. I just think that it was just, there was times where we did get along, which is crazy. And then it was just like Like we had a whole vibe, like cousins and all, and just exchanging all kind of information. But I just, how you can tell when somebody just don't like you or they're not feeling you. That's just the feeling that I always got from her. And I feel like I just kept trying. You have to be neutral in a situation like that because we all are forced to be together,
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's a hard thing to do when you don't feel. For me, that's a hard thing to do because I feel like if you're not feeling me, fine, pay me no mind and I'll pay you no mind and we don't have to hurt each other. But it was kind of hard when you're living in space together.
Is it possible, that you both may have prejudged each other before you came on the show?
I judged her based on what she showed me. I judged her based on her vibe because I didn't have any pre-notions about her from her show. I didn't even really remember her from her show. And I don't talk to anybody but I think because I'm friends with Sabrina, she was under the impression that we were having conversations about her. But Sabrina has never even mentioned her to me, ever, ever. Not one time. I didn't know anything about their beef. And she told me, oh, you're friends with somebody who don't like me. And I'm like, what? That's not true. Sabrina and I never even had a conversation about her. I didn't even realize that because you get the Potomac and the DC one mixed up. I didn't even realize that they were on the season together.
I mean, that's fair. But again, you mentioned something really interesting, right? You said you didn't really watch her season, but you definitely remember her doing a Brown Girl Squad situation, right? Mm-hmm. So again,
no,
could it be
people who mentioned the comments and stuff, but I hadn't seen that like doing her filming. Because how long ago was hers?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it was her. It was a long time ago. So, is it possible that you have some preconceived, because of course you're talking about vibes that she might have given.
I judged her based on what she showed me. I didn't have any preconceived because I didn't have any idea who it was going to be. So I didn't have enough time to do my research. But she knew I was going to be on the show. So she had enough time to do her research. I didn't know. I had no clue. None. Because I didn't sign up to be on the show until the last minute. So I didn't know. I didn't do any research. I judged her based on the way she was acting when I met her. The way she was talking to people, the way she was treating people, her whole disposition. That's what I went off of. I went off of her vibe, literally.
So she might have also gone off on your vibe. I think essentially what I'm trying to say is I think both of you might have gone on each other's vibe. And the reason why I say that is because also she, by her saying, oh, you're friends with Sabrina or whatever, right, is also her judging you based on maybe she might feel like she knows
information. About her wig or her hair or something because I did it on my season. So she probably thought I was going to talk about all them 25,000 wigs she had on. But I really wasn't thinking about her wigs. I was thinking about finding love.
No, but see that, Shareese, right there? That's that slick comment that you like to make, Shareese?
You asked for it. You said you said did she take, do I believe that she took anything from my season to use against me? I said, well, maybe she started feeling like I was going to say something about her from that.
What if she read your vibe? What if your vibe is that? Your vibe, what if your vibe is that? What? That Shareese.
Coming for that girl. I was so complimentive. She was the only one who didn't even hug me. Like she was the only one that kind of gave me a little
I'm not saying she didn't do it, by the way. I'm not saying she didn't do this, by the way. Yeah. I'm not saying she didn't do that. I'm just saying, can you may not see the other side because your mouth is a little slick. Your mouth a little slick, Shareese.
I know my mouth is slick.
Yeah, a little bit slick. I mean, you're fine, but you got a little slick mouth with you, girl. You know what I'm saying? You just
for sure. And so does she. So guess
and what? That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm saying that could it be that you two were, one or two jabs each were given, and you're both reading each other's vibe.
Okay, I can go there.
But I'm also taking what you're saying. I am taking what you're saying. I'm just give me a little bit of pushback, but I am taking what you're
What am I
saying.
supposed
How
to
you
do?
felt was, yeah.
Right.
Go for it, Shareese. Go
I
for
mean,
it.
I feel like what was us? I guess I should have just been the bigger person and just like got beat up on. I don't know.
No, I didn't say that, Shareese. So you know I didn't say that, and you know I didn't say that. Don't even try. You know I ain't say that. No. I'm not saying you should get beat up at all. I'm just saying that I think both of you might have been reading each other's energy. But I'm taking what you're saying because you're coming from your perspective in terms of what you felt. So I'm also listening to that as well, right? So I'm hearing what you're saying, that from your perspective, what you felt like was the person had a really preconceived idea and notion, and they were judging you before they got to really know you, and you were judging them based on their vibe, which I understand. So I am taking that in. I'm also hearing what you said on that part as well, right?
Thank you.
So going forward, then after that, you guys have another running together, all right? Another running, and the running this time is to do with a comment that's made from Zadia, and then you obviously hit her back with another, equally good, jab as well, right? Talk me through that situation. Is there more that happened off camera before that or something, or before it
That's
got to
what
that
I'm
point?
saying. You guys, everything is so much more that happens. You guys are just seeing a piece of it, but people know how to look a certain way on camera. I don't. Shareese is gonna be who she is on and off camera, but people know how to take jabs at you off camera so that when you get on camera, you're on 100, and that's me.
Okay.
See, I don't know how to turn it off and on. I got to get better with that, I guess. And I think that, yes, I think that it was a lot that happened that you did not see. And what you did not see was she's definitely, I felt like she tried to psychoanalyze me too much and just like talking at me instead of talking with me. She was just talking to me. Our communication wasn't even the same. Like just wasn't a vibe like the way Ashley and Renisha was, or with anybody. Like we just clashed. I felt like anything I said to her, she was very defensive. Even if I was trying to speak from a big sister, because I am older than her, she's younger than I am. But when I was her age, I had all that mouth too, and I thought I knew everything, and I treated people any kind of way. And
I understand. I get that. That's fair. So in that moment between obviously yourself and Zadia, That's the reason why you're laughing. I need to stay focused. So obviously that moment between you and Zadia, where you guys, throw your various jabs. Walk me through that. Was there any other? I know you kind of said there was something off camera, but was there something else that was said?
what?
Or was that the two heavy jabs? When she said obviously that you kissed LJ, and
Right.
and you said obviously that
When
you had
she
sex with
said I
Cam.
kissed OJ, that just pissed me off so bad because it was like she
Why?
was waiting for that moment to say it on camera, and it was like, oh, you're doing this because of what I did, and it was just so unwanted. Like I thought we had already moved past this. And I feel like, the whole LJ being there, I went out with them for the first time, without filming because LJ was there, because I felt comfortable, because I felt he's my friend. I can go out. And what they did see was that LJ and I are close, and I had already told them, they had already asked if LJ and I had ever dated before. And I told them no. And if we were dating, or why would he be there helping me while I'm dating? And then it was upsetting because it's like, I don't want Maurice to think that I'm on here trying to date him and I'm on here kissing dudes, So it was kind of upsetting. It was like, are you trying to like mess up my dates right now and like make me look like I'm on here kissing an ex? And LJ is not an ex. LJ is a friend. And it pissed me off because it was like an ambush. You think everything is okay, and then all of a sudden, here they come talking about Zadia want to sit down and talk to you. We sit down there and we're just having a regular conversation, and you start asking me about LJ, knowing we've already cleared that So why are you asking me this on camera like this? Why did you sit me down to purposely ask me? And then when LJ left, we did kiss. We kissed goodbye, not kiss like a romantic, my tongue down your throat. We kissed goodbye. Yes, we hugged and kissed goodbye because he was leaving me in New Orleans and going back to Miami, and that's my friend. And then when she said, I don't kiss my friends, child, I'm like, okay. Wow. You don't kiss your friends. She asked for it. She asked for it. You don't kiss your friends, and I don't have sex with people on shows or that I just meet. So it's just like,
I mean, was what you're saying factual, or was it just a blow?
you tell me what you think. I mean, it's not my
I'm trying to figure
lady.
out what you think because you said it.
It's not my
I'm trying to
lady.
figure what you think.
My dentals.
This is the time to come and snitch. This is the time to come and tell us a real story. Were you saying it because you saw something? I'm asking the question like, did you say it because you had seen something? And I don't mean literally see them do anything, but I'm saying because you saw something, or were you just saying it because you're trying to throw a jab?
No, I said it because I meant it.
So in your hearts of heart, you believe that they kicked it.
I don't know what they did, but I mean,
So,
more than
so it
likely.
wasn't. So it was a jab then. No, a jab would mean that I'm just throwing it out there and I don't really care. I don't need to know if it's true or not because I'm throwing a jab out there, right?
But it was just kind of like, why would you say something like, why would you ask me this on camera when I already told you the answer? That's the part that pissed me off, is that you already knew this. So you purposely, this is a setup pretty much.
Yeah, she set you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. She set you up, right? But she might believe it's true. That's what I'm asking. She might believe she might believe what she saw. You said you did kiss, but it wasn't a kiss on.
Okay,
I'm guessing it wasn't a kiss on lips.
So take me to the kissing police. I don't know.
So okay, wait. This kiss, was it on the cheek or was it?
I don't even know. I think it was kind of like mwah, like a hug and a kiss, like hug and then you go mwah, like that. What? This was like 9 months ago. I'm telling you, that's why I was so pissed, because I'm like, why is she doing this?
Wait, Shareese. So I don't misunderstand what you just said.
Yeah.
I want to make it freaking clear what you're saying. So y'all hugged, and you did lips. I just want to make sure you say what I think you're saying.
Honestly, I can't remember if it landed in the lips or the cheek. Honestly, I swear, I can't remember if it landed on the lips or the cheeks. But I don't understand what's the big deal if I kissed LJ.
Shareese, Shareese.
What?
Shareese.
What?
Come on now, Shareese.
If I'm saying that I didn't romantically kiss him, what's the problem?
It's not about the I mean personally me.
That's why I'm upset though, because a kiss, what's wrong with a kiss? What, you don't kiss your friends like on the cheek or like a hug and a kiss?
I'm just saying, Shareese, if we meet, just in case, just in case we don't want Zadia to come and snitch on us, okay? But I know what you mean. I'm just saying that particularly maybe for a lot of us, that is not a norm. I'm going to be honest with you. Kissing another brother or sister, whatever you would call it, a girlfriend, whatever, on the lips, isn't usually considered friendship behavior. Now, I know some people might say it's not deep, but they ain't do it themselves. So I'm saying that's why a lot of people are going to be like, whoa, because if I'm honest with you, we don't kiss people on the lips.
Well, that's what she wanted y'all to do. So she got the reaction that she wanted. And that's what pisses me off, is that this kiss is being blown out of proportion. And it makes no fucking sense, because I did not romantically kiss LJ. I don't care what anybody says. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Like, I didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I'm not saying necessarily did anything wrong.
LJ, when I called him, he was like, "What the?" He's like, "I'm in a meeting, like at work." He's like, "This is so stupid. Where is this all coming from?" And I'm just like, I can't believe it's a joke. It's really funny that's what she wanted y'all to do, though. She wanted you guys to have a fit about this kiss and make me look like I'm running around kissing my friends. I don't care, though. You know, I don't care.
Can I ask
as long as I know the truth, I don't care.
Which is fair, but can I ask a real question? This is my own kind of inquisitiveness.
It's just stupid. Like, what if I did kiss him? What's your point? What's the problem?
I think okay, let me just this is my own inquisitiveness. If hypothetically speaking, you're dating somebody.
I kiss my friends, just so you know. I kiss my friends. I do. I hug and I kiss my friends. Shareese,
I can give a kiss on the cheek, but
I don't. Wherever I want to kiss them at, I hug and kiss my friends. That's a fact. I can admit to that. I hug and I kiss my friends. Not with a tongue kiss, not a romantic kiss, but yes, I do. I'm a hugger and a kisser. Mm-hmm.
So you'd be comfortable. This is my own personal question.
No, I'm not kissing nobody that I'm not comfortable with in the mouth. But if my mouth lands on your mouth, then that means that I'm comfortable.
I'm not saying you. Kissing. Your man, can he kiss his female friends on the lips as well?
Can my man kiss my? It depends on what kind of friend. It depends on what kind of kiss. If it's a friendly kiss.
Let's say he's the same relationship you have with LJ.
Hmm?
Let's say he has the same relationship that you have with LJ. He has the same relationship with a female.
A man of mine wouldn't be kissing another woman in the lips. And listen.
Why not?
What's the problem? Like,
yeah, what's the problem? That's what I'm saying.
Kiss whoever the hell I want to kiss.
No, I'm saying your man though. Your man, not you, but your man kissing his female friend the same way, like you're kissing.
No, I wouldn't want my man to kiss another woman in the mouth. No, but that's not how I was kissing LJ. So no man is going to be
as a friend. Upset. Yeah, sorry.
Exactly. So yeah, you can't.
No, I mean, he kisses a girl as a friend. That's what I mean. He kisses a girl as a friend. No romantic kiss. It's him platonically kissing his friend on the lips, not in a romantic way, without romantic intention.
No man of mine is going to kiss another woman in the lips. No, I'm not going to allow that.
Wait, Shareese. I'm
not saying that if my man kisses a friend of his the way I kissed LJ, I don't have a problem with it. I did not kiss LJ romantically, so I'm not in any trouble. And what man are you talking about? At the time, Maurice was not my man, so I can kiss whoever I want to kiss. To be honest,
that's a hypothetically.
Yeah,
Is it? Are you more angry at what? Are you more angry at Zadia saying it on camera than actually what she actually said?
I don't give exactly. Do you really think I'm 45 years old? I've done way more than kissing. I don't give a shit about a kiss. LJ is my friend. He deserves a kiss. Like it's not a big deal to me. It's not like I laid down and gave him some coochie. We're talking about a kiss, a peck. Mwah. Grow up. Grow up.
Okay.
What fuels me is that you guys are making a big deal out of a kiss. And she sat me down on that couch to expose that me and LJ kissed. If LJ came in here right now, I will hug him and give him a kiss. The only difference is Zadia saw us hug and kiss and she told the world. On Jesus Christ, there's nothing going on between me and LJ, and it was a friendly kiss. And the part that pissed me off is that, yes, this kiss has turned into something that she wanted it to. It's getting the reaction that she wanted. Everybody is, oh, but you kissed your friend and you kissed.
I think you need to watch this back. It's going to be wild. Because I get what you're saying. I'm just saying it's a bit wild. That's what I'm saying.
What? What's a bit wild? That we kissed? Or did she mention it? Or that I got upset?
Not the reaction I can get because she tried to out you. And, you know, that's not a pretty thing to do. But I think the reason why the kiss thing is so wild is, and it will continue to be wild, is because we're listening to the situation and you're able to determine that kissing LJ is platonic and nothing romantic about it. But when I gave you the example that if your man was to kiss his female friend the same way you kiss LJ, you would have a problem with it, which means inadvertently it's something that you don't feel comfortable with. Then if the man was to do the exact same thing you would.
No, you said if my man kissed a woman in the mouth. That's what you said.
Yes, the same way you kiss the friend, like a friend. Yeah.
And I said, if my man kissed the same way LJ and I kiss, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But
You
when
wouldn't.
you said,
Oh, I thought you said you would. Sorry, we heard you would.
no, I said in the mouth, yes. But the way I kissed LJ, no, I'm not going to have a problem with it.
But you don't remember where you kissed him, though.
I hear my man hugging and kissing women all day long on the phone. All day long, right? No. Especially in Miami, like in the Latin culture, please. You're hugging and you're kissing. And LJ is from St. Martin. He's an island guy. Like it's not a big deal to show some affection.
Okay, fair enough. All right, cool. So then, okay, so that happens, right? So you and Zadia, that situation happens. You have a beef after that. Do you guys make up after that? Is there an apology from both sides, or
no? After that, it was to shits. After that, it just felt like a betrayal because we had already been through all of this, and now I'm in a good space, and it just felt like I got all these other guys that I'm interested in going out with, and now you're up here trying to say I kissed LJ. So how is that going to affect my journey and my process moving forward? So I just felt like, this is somebody that I want to avoid at all costs. And no, we did not make up. We just learned how to get along in the space together.
I hear that. So then obviously coming to then obviously the reunion, you guys, I'm guessing you're kind of making things work in terms of just like you're just coping. But by the time it gets to reunion in that space, you guys are just amicable. Right? Is that what you're saying? Okay. So talk us through the reunion, because I'll give you my honest sentiments. I think it felt like both you and Zadia were on the same page in terms of not really listening. When they originally were trying to tell you something, you also didn't want to hear from Zadia's point of view. So maybe you can give us a bit of a perspective on that. What happened between that situation when you and Zadia were talking?
Honestly, the reunion is such a blur. The reunion was very I really didn't want to be there because I felt like I just didn't feel like arguing again. I didn't feel like rehashing the bullshit with Cam in the house and the kiss and just all of it. I was so ready to be over it. And I was hoping that the reunion was going to be more of a unity and, where are we at now and where are we trying to get to? But clearly it wasn't. And I just felt like I got like thrown off by that completely, because I'm thinking it's been enough time. We've had enough time to think and heal, and we're going to move on past this. And I don't even remember what was said or how it was said because it's all just such a blur. But I just felt like I never really got a chance to speak up. Like anytime any question was directed to me, either Ashley interfered or, Bernicia said, well, Shareese is like this and like that. Everybody spoke on me except for me. And then I just had to say, okay, you guys are right. Like the whole thing about, seems like you and Zadia are a lot alike. I don't think so. I think that maybe we clashed because I don't know.
Can I just maybe bring you back into that
and
reunion?
You guys didn't get to see the part. I never said that they gang up on me. So that thing with Ashley, I didn't even know where that came from. I didn't know why she decided to just go off on me. And so that's why I was just like, please don't talk to me like this. Like, this is very triggering. I felt very like I had to defend myself, and it was just like exhausting. Like, I really don't want to do this. I'm not in the space anymore. I've already moved on.
So I definitely hear that as well. So just to kind of, rehash what actually happened, in that reunion from what we saw from an edited perspective. The first conversation was actually from Zadia's perspective, telling you about how she felt considering what happened with the door situation, etc., etc. And what we saw from the edited version is you said, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to listen to what you got to say. So before we get to the point, and it might have been chopped and screwed as well, so it might be that way around.
Way. I told her I feel the same exact way. And what y'all didn't see was when she said, I don't have any problems with you, yada, yada, yada. I said, I feel the same exact way. I just feel like we clashed. And no, I didn't want to hear the things that she was saying, because I feel like she always just talks about me. Well, I'm not doing any of this for no reason. What is the cause of this? There's a cause and there's an effect. There's a reason why I'm acting like this. There's a reason why we're clashing. It's not all on me. Why is it all on me? Why is everybody why is it all on me? All Shareese did this, Shareese said that, Shareese. Well, what about you? What the hell did you do to me? I mean, I never sat there and said I was innocent. But I didn't come to the reunion like, you did this and you said that. And I didn't want to hear it because I had already heard it, and I'm tired of hearing it, Zadia. Like, let's move on. Let's move past it. It's not making any one of us look good. It's not making any one of us feel good. It's negative. Let it go. And at the reunion, I just wish it wouldn't have played out like that, But again, it was a whole nother element there. What the other lady, what was her name? Tanish.
I don't know what good the names. It was Tamika and it might have been Tanisha. It might have been. I can't remember. I called her Egypt, so that was me way missed.
But it was just like, it was painful because I just felt like I'm still not being heard. Everybody doesn't understand. And then everybody is just talking for me. Like, okay, Shareese grew up and she had problems. And then the other person was like, I think she just doesn't have friends. It's just like, ask me, let me speak here. And then, when Ashley was like, you're not going to do what you did on Ready to Love and all this and that. I'm like, I don't even know where any of this was coming from. I just didn't feel like it was wanted. I wish I would have been more prepared, to be honest, because I wasn't prepared for that.
So, I mean, looking at that situation then, you would have watched it back. Do you not feel that maybe she also, the same way you desire to have a space to be able to share your thoughts and feelings, that she would have wanted the same thing from yourself as well? Because I'm going to come on to her part where she also pretty much did the same thing to you. So I'm saying, do you not feel that at the time when she was also explaining her side of things, even if it is a rehashing, even if you guys have spoken about it previously, it is a reunion, so you're going to go over certain things again. Do you not feel that that would have been an appropriate time to kind of just hear what she got to say, let her get her grievances out, and then you then say what you need to say after as well?
Yeah, I could have. But what she was saying to me is the same thing she always says, So I just feel like maybe I shut down. Honestly, I shut down at that reunion. I did. I shut down. I wasn't there mentally or emotionally. Like, I just couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. It was too much for me.
I understand that. What made you say that the ladies were ganging up on you? Because you actually said that the ladies ganged up on you. You actually said
I didn't say that, though. That's the thing. I didn't say that. I think through all of everything that was going on, I don't know if it felt like I was saying that, but I was responding to Zadia when she said that I isolated myself. And yes, of course, I'm going to avoid, if I'm having a problem with somebody, I'm going to just avoid you so that I don't have to overreact or get myself into these situations because I know how I am. And so when she was saying like I isolated myself and all that, I was saying like I really didn't isolate myself. I'm okay with being by myself if we're not getting along. I don't have to fit in or be around you. And when Ashley was like, don't make it seem like we did this and we did that. And I'm like, I'm being misunderstood because that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, I think that they did a good job in not letting it escalate, and helping it to not escalate. It probably would have been a lot worse if we didn't have the two of them. So I never felt like they got involved. I think that they were very neutral because I think that they saw my personality and her personality, and they weren't taking sides at all. They just saw both sides. And so, and then as far as like wanting to hear her out at the reunion, I was just so disgusted at so many things that I'm like, I just don't want to hear this anymore from you.
It's a very tough place to be in if you're in a place where you don't want to hear from the other party, right? Mm-hmm. At that point in time, he was in a particular space.
Yeah. I mean, I had already heard it over and over again, and I feel like, even the night before, we were all together. Her and I just never talked, so I'm not gonna. I just felt like what she's saying, it could have came. We should have been more. If it would have been more like uniting the things that she was saying, like if it would have been more inviting and made me feel comfortable enough to open up, I would have. But the things that she said to me, it made me feel defensive and it made me shut down. So I didn't feel like I was in a safe space to really receive anything that she was saying. I just didn't.
Was it a comment about the bully aspect? That kind of, because I know she said that as well, didn't she?
Yeah, and it's just like, it's just not true. It's just like, why is she saying all this stuff? This is bullshit. It's almost like she was saying to me what I had already done said to her. And I'm like, why are we like pointing the fingers at each other? This is not healthy. Why are we? I felt like from day one, she was psychoanalyzing me and telling me about myself. Like, why? Let me tell you who I am. Let me show you who I am. You're not going to tell me who I am. Like, I'm just not that type of person where you could just come and tell me who I am.
No, I get that point. I get that perspective. That for you, that it's feeling like the person is judging you and being critical of you in immediate moments as well. So I do understand that perspective as well. Not mad at that, to understand that. So obviously that situation came to a halt. I do have to ask you one last question about that situation, not about Zadia, but actually before you walked off, Ashley, Vern had something to say about the situation because they felt like, before they hadn't jumped into the situation, but now they feel like they had to say something in the moment. I want to get your perspective on what happened there because both Ashley and Vern did seem to take some rejection to what you said and said we've not got involved, we've not jumped in on anybody's side, we've stayed on our particular sides. And then Ashley obviously had quite a viral reaction to what you said and wanted to let you know that that's not how things actually were. So I want to get your perspective. From your perspective, what were you trying to communicate to the ladies and why do you feel like they would have seen it differently to what you'd have seen it as?
I was answering Zadia's when she said that I was isolating myself. I was responding to her and I said that I'm a loner and I can be by myself and I don't mind being by myself. So I wasn't isolating myself because of you. I was isolating myself because I needed a timeout. I needed to be by myself. I have a right to say I don't want to be around people. And you didn't see me explaining that. All you see is Ashley go into, why are you saying that? So it's really, I was trying to explain that, no, I'm not saying that I got ganged up on by you guys at all, because I don't feel that way. I don't feel like Vernisha or Ashley, I think they did good at staying out of it and being neutral. I really do. I don't think they picked sides. I think they looked at both of our personalities and they took it into consideration. And, one on one, they tried to reason with us about each other. But I don't think that I was ganged up on at all. So I don't even know why. And, afterwards, Ashley and I talked about it. She was like, I'm sorry, we should have never even went there. I don't even know why that got screwed up like that.
I mean, you did say the comment. You did say
What?
that they ganged up on you.
I didn't say they ganged up on me. I said that I felt left out. I never said they ganged. I said they ganged up on me. I never said that.
You said that. I think you
I
said
said
that
I
once, and then
felt
you
like
said that
I
before.
wanted to isolate. I didn't say that they ganged up on me. I never said they ganged up on me.
So, because I think that's
I said me
that
not
comment
being
was.
around them was my choice. Like, I don't feel like they ganged up. They never made me feel uncomfortable or ganged up on at all. It was always me and Zadia's beef.
Okay, I get that. I hear that. Okay, so obviously leaving that behind, obviously that reunion was quite an impactful one. But listen, we spent some good time unpacking some of the madness that happened, right? Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, aside that, there was actually some dating that was going on in the show, right? So we got to see you date one or two people on the show, and also you ended up with somebody, Maurice, at the very end as well. So take me through the very beginning, because did you know the premise of the show was going to, I know that you knew it was going to be Ready to Love, but did you know it was going to be that particular way, like the way that they scheduled it? Because I know the men were not aware that they were going to have it that way. So did you think it was going to be like a round 2 Ready to Love All Stars, or do you think it was, or were you aware that it was going to be literally women dating the men and choosing? Were you aware of that particular format?
Oh yeah, I was aware of the format. I was aware.
So for you, obviously for yourself, when you guys walk out, sorry, go on.
We didn't know we were going to have a matchmaker, but I was aware that I was going to, New Orleans to possibly move there or have a back and forth relationship.
Well, in all honesty, did you feel like you potentially could move in a short amount of time? Because I felt like I understood the premise, but I just felt like it's a bit heavy to want to move in that regard. You know what I mean? So soon.
There's no way I could just move in that short amount of time.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially if you have a business as well.
If you find love, think about it. Sometimes it's that fast where you're like, listen, I come here. It's different. People have different situations. For me, with the business and everything else, I can't just pick up and move that quick. But I know people who did it and they're married to this day. They met online and they're like, hey, let's move here. It works.
I definitely hear that. So then, you ladies get to come out onto the front porch. You see 25 men standing there, and you get to, choose a candidate to go on a date with. Your very first date, I'm trying to remember, I think it was a gentleman that had, is it the gentleman that had the suit jacket? Was that the first one? Or was he the second one?
Which one? Oh, yes. Antonio with the jacket.
Yes, the suit jacket.
The part.
Talk to me through that date, man, because you had old boy the ropes. What was going on that day? Tell me how that went for you.
That was cute. It was a cute date. He was cute. The thing about it is he had just moved back from Hawaii. Imagine. And he has a small child, military, Hawaii, 3 kids, like all these different women. So automatically I'm like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. And then the more he talked, the more I'm just like, this guy is a ladies' man. Probably really not the man for me.
You were getting that energy, playboy. Okay. But other than that, was he like, did you feel like there was some level of compatibility? So if it wasn't for the playboy stuff, did you feel like there was actually things that were compatible for you, Antonio?
when I first initially met him, yes. And then on the second date, I started thinking we're probably not compatible.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, from what we heard, it seemed like a nice date, but it just didn't have the components that you were necessarily looking for. So I could see that wasn't necessarily gonna work out in that
Oh,
respect.
yeah.
And then I think you did mention about something about his vests, didn't you?
Well, his style was kind of like, yeah, the vest.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be superficial. That's something you can change. So I was like, I'm not gonna just. But yeah, after he wore it like the second, 3, 4, 5 time, I'm like, my third time seeing him. I was like, shit. And then like this little voice, I was like, shit, I don't have the spark. Damn. I didn't have that spark.
It went with the fourth time wearing that vest. I'm assuming. Yeah. Down the drain. It was too much.
And I just got lazy, man. And then the small child, like, and he said she was full of drama. I was like, oh no, we don't want that. We don't want Shareese to be full of drama. We don't need Shareese and a baby mama.
I hear that. I absolutely hear that 100%. All right, so the next date, you had, if I remember correctly, the next date that we saw was the gentleman. I think there's probably one more in between, but I can't think of his name. But the one I remember next was the gentleman that was excitable, and I can't remember his name. Why is his name gone up my head? He was very energetic. And he was doing a bit too much because at the mixer he ended up kind of wrestling
gosh, Danzy.
Yes, Danzy. Talk to me about Danzy. It started off so well.
I know. I had such high hopes for Danzy. He was so much okay. So doing the lunch date, he was great conversation. I was really good. Looking forward to get to know him. I had 2 guys at the time, so I invited him and the other guy to the Zadia's party. Him and Lizelle. Mizell, but we named him.
We call him Lizelle. Yes, I heard the stories now. Yep.
So Lizelle and Danzy. Danzy was just a different person I think he got the liquid carriage with the drink. That's all I can say. Because you meet somebody at first and then they're cool doing lunch. We only had 1 drink, but then you get them in a party setting. I said Danzy and Shareese. Disaster. I come back from the bar, he could be done got in a fight with somebody. If I go to the bathroom, like he's one of those guys that you just never know what he's gonna say. You should have heard the way he actually couldn't take it. Like he was just too much. And then he was going back and forth with Lizelle, and he was like, "Yeah, man, what you need?" When Mizell was coming over, like asking me if you need a drink or anything, and he's like, "No, man, she good," and all this. I'm like, oh God, he was drinking, so he was just a lot of liquid carriage. And I never heard from him again after that night because I guess he was embarrassed.
Oh, so he did actually message you after that night? Oh, I thought it was a case that you didn't message him. I thought that's what happened. I thought no,
not Lizelle, Danzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danzy was too embarrassed to come back. I think he just.
Oh. You think it had anything to do with the fact that you didn't want him to touch you and he touched you?
He wasn't my +1. I just invited him to the party. Like, he wasn't my +1. He's not LJ yet. He can't get Shareese to hug. He was
doing a little bit too much. He was doing a little too much touching.
He was doing a little too much touching. You have no idea. Like this guy, but people, when they drink, they can't see themselves. I'm the same way. Because I'm sure those drinks are the reason why I go from 100 to 3,000.
No, I did feel a little bit away for that because I understand, like, especially being as a woman, and you're put in that position where someone is a bit more handsy than you actually want them to be. It's not a nice position to be in. So, as much as I joke about it, I did, we did all see that it wasn't the most easiest thing to do. I think you played it the best way you could. And I think you handled it quite well actually.
Thank
as
you.
well. So shout out to Mizell at the time before we knew he was Lizell, who helped out to be there and support you in a particular fashion, particular vein as well. There was obviously, someone mentioned it, I almost forgot, there was a gentleman before I go to Mizell. There was a gentleman before that, actually. You guys were doing the tubes and the, I was like, some great stuff. You guys were, he didn't travel much. I can't remember the name. Listen, all the names have gone past me. He did
Keith.
not travel. He had just got out of the country or whatever. Yeah. See, all these names be escaping me. So yeah, how was that? Because it looked like you did. This was looking good into the travel part. But yeah,
The travel part. And it wasn't just the travel part. It was, I just felt like I'm not the kind of girl for Keith. I think Keith is used to women who are going to like mother him, or like, because his excuse for not having a passport is that the woman that he was dating at the time didn't help him get one. And I was like, I know I'm not, that's not my personality at all. He will still be waiting to get a passport, because I'm not going to do something for you that you should be able to do for yourself.
fair enough.
And then you're going to blame me for it. So I was just like, I just think that I want somebody who's a little bit more experienced, and he's just not that experienced. And I felt like he would be a great match for somebody else, just not me.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So he actually blamed his ex for the fact that he had no passport, rather than actually just saying that, you know what, I haven't really thought about it. I'm not a traveler. Maybe that's why I haven't gone.
I would have liked if he would, even if he would have said, because I was waiting on you to get one, or
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to make him feel bad about that, because, but I just know for me, if that's your expectation of a woman, it's probably not going to work, because I'm not going to be able to be that person.
That's fair. That's very fair. Okay, so moving on from him. Then there was, and there's two more guys in my head I can see. Two more gentlemen also. One who had a very soft spoken voice, and then the other gentleman.
That was
Yes.
his voice is kind of raspy. Will. That
Yes.
was
Yes.
Will and Nick. So Will and Nick, yeah.
That's it. Yes, we had Will and Nick. What happened there? Talk to me.
Will he's young. He's young. He's got a young child. Will, I saw him as a great friend, somebody you can talk to. He's very nurturing. He's very, you come to New Orleans, we got you. And I saw him as just a friend. And listen, I want to be real with these guys. I want to be real with myself and with them. I didn't want to try to lead anybody on knowing that it's something that I just couldn't see fit. And he talked a lot about him having a small child. So for me, I was like, he needs to be there for his son.
Fair.
I'm looking for somebody that I'm going to be the number one priority. But if I'm dating a guy who has a kid, the kid needs to be the number one priority.
Okay. I feel that. I definitely get that. And then Nick, it didn't go well, right? No, it wasn't a bad day actually. You guys had started speaking a little bit.
Nick, same thing, young. He's never even been on an airplane. He drives. He drove to California. Like, can you see me driving to California? No.
I can't.
No, you can't.
Not without killing.
No, I'm not going to try it. I'm not desperate. I don't want to be a new show. Desperate Shareese,
And I get it. I couldn't see that happening for you. And of course, you really stated your standards as well. So I don't think it was a disrespect or even bad the way you stated it. I think you were quite clear and and quite real about it. That you wanted to travel, you wanted to see the world, you want to be in business.
And I didn't want to make anybody feel like they weren't enough or that I was too much, and vice versa. I don't want to feel like somebody's too much or I'm not enough. So I just rather be honest and be truthful without, being disrespectful or hurtful. And I think everything, it was genuine. I think all the guys, none of them were upset. It ended amicably. I think that If it would have been a show with just me and the guys, I probably you wouldn't have seen the ugly side of me.
I get that. I do understand that point as well. I mean, listen, and I think you had probably some of the most dates that we had. I think on the show, I think you had quite a few different gentlemen that you actually got to experience and got to actually
Because
see.
I didn't want to lock down, and I wanted to be true to myself and I wanted to be true to them. So I wanted to give myself a fair chance. I didn't want to just lock into one person. And I'm glad I didn't. And I'm glad that I had a chance to date other guys and then bring Maurice back.
So Maurice was obviously being spoken to behind the scenes. Okay, you and Maurice were behind the scenes. He was still talking. Okay, so the first time you and Maurice connect, right? First time you guys connect, he seems to be doing less of the talking. It seems, right? And you mentioned that in the confessional that he's not doing as much talking. So take us along this journey of you and Maurice. That beginning of that journey for us.
Okay, so when I first saw Maurice, I was like, okay, this is a guy that I would date. And remember, Tamika, Maurice came whenever she found, she went to go find somebody. So this was really like the first guy. I picked him. We picked the first guy. Now she picked these guys, right? So when I saw him, the first thing I thought is this is the kind of guy that I would date, or I would meet if I'm out at a bar or something. So I'm like, it looks familiar. His age, professional, well put together, distinctive. That's what I normally go after. Just so y'all know, that's what Shareese is into. Distinctive men. And just, he just had that thing that I like. Masculine, very masculine. And so I was like, okay, this is a good match. And then we get to our date, and he's not talking, and we're just eating this food. And we ran out of things.
That food, boy.
And I was just thinking, damn, here it is. I got another guy that don't talk, that don't know how to open up. But I think too, it's really difficult to date on television, right? Everybody say, oh yeah, sign me up. I want to date on television. But everyone gets nervous in front of cameras. My dad did the same thing. He swore out he wasn't nervous. But I think that part of Maurice not talking is that you got to remember, he's a freaking attorney. He's an attorney. He tell people when to talk and when not to talk, So for him, it's like the element of being on television, not wanting to say anything wrong, not wanting to. I think that's more so because him off cameras, he's talkative, he's fun, he's adventurous. He's not shallow and superstitious like people are superficial, like people are saying. He's really not. But I do think that on camera he does, and I even misunderstood that. I feel like, but I think that was good for us because I got a chance to tell him what I needed, and he gave it to me. And that's really just all that was about, was just, him feeling comfortable and me letting him know, hey, it's okay to open up. Like, let's open this thing up. What's inside of here?
I love that. So there was growth then in this situation. Then there was growth because at the beginning he wanted to, he was a bit more quieter, if we'll call it that, or a bit more, reserved. And then you guys obviously come off the show, you get to start speaking, and then you get to kind of be able to share some of the things that you actually require from him. So actually, in a sense, him kind of coming off the show, or at least I say quote unquote coming off the show, being on the sidelines a little bit, really allow for you guys to actually then begin to discuss what you needed and what you wanted to see from him in that respect. So when he then decides, when he says he's going to give you what you need and going forward as well, what's your position? What's your sentiment? How did you feel in that moment or those moments when he says, okay, I hear you and I'm willing to give you what you're requiring?
I felt good. I felt like, he's listening. So this is somebody that, when in dating, and I'm deciding if this is somebody that I want to date. Because I think as women, you have to look at this person, look at their character, and see, like, is this somebody that I would want to date? And I think that, you know, once I told him what it was, because we're just meeting, he doesn't know. And he was willing to correct it. And he showed me, because you could tell somebody something, but he actually did it. He pursued me more. Like, I felt pursued by him. I felt like he was, really trying to get to know me. And I felt like he was listening and he was paying attention more than I thought. Once I told him what I wanted. So for me, that was big that he was able to make that adjustment so quickly.
So obviously then he gets brought back on the show because you guys are obviously talking a lot more now, right? You're getting to a better place. He gets brought back on the show, and like I said, he's listening, he's putting into practice what you said. It's looking good, like, you know what I mean. And then from then on outwards, it just seems to be a smooth ride for you guys. I cannot lie, like it just seems to be going up and up and up. And I know that the show didn't necessarily highlight that to the greatest core, but it really did, sound like it was going up and up and up and up, and you guys were just, beginning to grow and soar. So from your perspective, obviously you got to meet him and I believe it was his daughter as well, right? At the, I don't know what they called it, but you guys meted the family and the person's family. Yeah. Talk to me about that situation, because
it was so natural. It wasn't forced. It felt good. They felt like family, honestly. I was happy to be able to meet, because he's surrounded by women. He they all work for him, his cousins, his family. He has 2 daughters. And so that to me is also good when men are like around other women, because it says that they know how to treat women because they have so many women around them. But to be able to hear their perspective, especially from a daughter, I know, like with my dad, I'm very protective, and I know my dad.
Oh, sorry.
And so to have his daughter's input, it helped me to see, this guy is somebody that I could really date.
You saw some qualities that you're like, okay, this could actually be something that I could actually be with. He had some qualities that you actually liked and stuff. What was some of the, apart from obviously the fact that his daughter spoke so well of him, I haven't even asked you, what were some of the qualities that you liked in Maurice? What was it that Maurice?
He's a gentleman. He's a gentleman. He's very, he's observant. He's professional. He's successful. He's family oriented. He's fun. He has a great sense of humor. He's laid back. He's just like, I like a guy who's more laid back and reserved the way he is, and just kind of sort of, he's just his personality is very cool. And I like that. He takes care of himself. He works out. That's important. He's a genuine person, down to earth. Those are the things that drew me to him, and he's compassionate, because also when I cried, because I'm always crying, when I cried, and his response to my sadness or my feelings was very, was endearing to me. Like it was very, I felt safe. I felt like I could cry in front of him, and he just dried my tears right up with his response. So I like that about him, that he can handle, when I get emotional. He can handle when I get angry. He can handle a lot of sides of me.
Because we were debating that on the channel. I can't lie to you. We had back and forth each week. It was like Shareese versus his patience, Shareese's anger versus patience. They're gonna be okay, So I definitely hear that, and you seem to be smiling a lot. Talking about Maurice. There's a lightness in the way that you speak when you're talking about Maurice as well, which is great. So obviously, then you guys get to a point where we get to see you guys a reunion. And you guys are seemingly soaring, you're winning. And then it gets to a point where, you guys are saying what you're going to do. So I want to know from your perspective, you guys decided to come and see each other's. I guess you go. He can come to Miami as well. How did that go? You know, at the time, I'm guessing it's probably happened now. How did it go after the show had ended? Before I talk about Miami, how did it go after the show?
It went good. It went good. You know, he didn't disappear. He didn't block me. He didn't do, you know, what other people have done. It's going good. He's still the same person that he was then. You know, for me, I don't mind long distance relationships. Obviously, it's not something that you can sustain. It's fun. It's exciting because you get, you know, the best of both worlds, and you kind of get a break in between. You get time to miss each other, you know, and you just give each other that space. But I mean, he knows how to keep me entertained. I'm always getting something delivered from New Orleans. I just finished cake because it's Mardi Gras time. Like, he had a cake sent to me and coffee, and so, you know, there's FaceTime, airplanes.
That's a lot of things to help cover up the space.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, so after the show, it didn't block you. You kept on moving forward, kept on looking like it was going great. You come onto reunion, and you guys are saying that, you know, he's going to come to Miami, see how you do things down there. Tell us, what was that like? I mean, I don't know if he actually did he eventually come to Miami and see what it was like and spend some time with you in Miami?
We're gonna wait and see.
Oh, okay. So it hasn't happened. Okay. So it's in the making. Sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Wait, and then I guess I got asked that question.
What?
Are you and Maurice still together?
Dating?
Are you still
Yes.
dating?
Yes.
Okay. How's it going? Now, taking away aside everything else now.
Taking away the pressure and everything else. It's going good. It's going good. Yeah. I'm happy.
Is it all that you imagined?
It is. It is. It is. I don't want to get my hopes up too high.
That's fair. I respect that. You're trying to keep your feet grounded.
Yeah, and then just trying to keep, like, because I feel like we did it in public, so now we're just trying to privately get to know each other without, like, so much outside noise, because that could be, you know, it could seem like pressure, you know.
I get that. Obviously, dating on the show, you got a lot of things that are going on, that are happening, that are kind of, you know, that try to take your attention in a sense. But then obviously, when you're off the show, it's now just about you two as well, and no one else. You just you two, just trying to make it work as well. So obviously, because it's long distance, you guys are calling. Have you been to Miami yourself? Oh, no, Miami. Have you been back to NOLA since you left?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
So it's focused on. I hear you on that stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm with you, girl. You know what I mean? I'm in a heat right now. And I get that. I get it. So you guys you're focused on just building that relationship, building a foundation.
Yeah.
Ooh. So yeah. So would you seriously consider us moving now? Then
not moving. I said going to visit.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. So just visit, not moving. Okay. I ain't mad at it. All right, cool. I ain't mad at it. All right, listen. I think it's great that you two are still dating, still figuring things out, and still moving forward with your relationship as well. You know, and I love the fact that you yourself and Maurice, you know, managed to, you know, stick it out and continue after the show is done and move forward with it as well. So I'm wishing you guys all the luck and all the best.
Thank you.
And like I said, you smile when you talk about him. You know what I mean? You when you talk about Maurice, you have a happiness and a joy when you talk about him. There's a light in your eyes. And I just saw that he was in a chat as well. So he was also supporting and stuff like that as well. So clearly, you know, you guys are still sweet on one another, and we appreciate that connection as well. Yeah. So. And I totally understand you want to keep your feet on the ground. I do get it. You know, don't want to say too much, which is understandable until it's fully there. Okay. Yeah, all right, man.
Keep
Um,
on.
keep on. Is there anything else that you wanted to share? Maybe about the dating process, maybe about the ladies, maybe about the show. Anything you wanted to kind of get off your chest that maybe you didn't have. I didn't ask a question or we didn't get round to it. Anything else that you're thinking to yourself? I just want to be able to share this particular perspective.
Um, I would say that, you know, I would say I'm just glad everybody watched the show. I would say don't give up on love. You know, if you're single, if you're watching anything that I do, don't watch the confrontations that I get into. But you know, I just feel like for that, I'm not going to make excuses. Like I feel like people want to hear me take accountability. And I do hear a lot of people saying get therapy, and I do believe in therapy, and believe it or not, you know, like therapy to me, I'm a high maintenance woman and that's part of my maintenance. So when people say like it doesn't bother me, but I think that we all have to be mindful in the way we treat people, you know, and the things that we say and the things that we do. And you know, if I said or did anything to offend anyone, I do apologize, but I'm always going to be true to who I am, and I recommend anyone else to always be true to yourself. So live in your truth, even if your truth hurts, because there was a lot of painful and there was a lot of painful things, you know, within this show. But if it's the truth, then the truth will set you free, and I'm a truth seeker. So if my truth is that I had to get ugly, then I have to live with that. I'm okay with getting ugly. I'm okay with, because guess what? I'm gonna learn from it and I'm gonna grow. So if I have to get, you know, if I have to get ugly or I get out of character, I'm human. I'm human, right? And humans get out of character, humans get emotions, and I would just say that just always be true to yourself and keep going. Keep going. Don't ever give up on love. Keep looking, keep searching. You know, it's somebody for everybody. And and being single and dating is fun. It's fun. Have fun with it. If I would give you any advice for people who are watching the show and you feel inspired about dating, I would say go and date. It was so fun to be on a date twice with two different guys. When do women do that? Chance to do that. It was like I have a coffee date in the daytime, and then I have a lunchtime. I have a nighttime date, you know, or I see Maurice at a picnic, and then I go on a romantic dinner. As women, we don't do that. So I would say if you're single, do that once in your lifetime because that was really fun.
Hey,
That was
yeah,
really
man.
fun.
You internalize. I did forget to ask, and you maybe you don't have to answer anything about it because we can always end on a good note.
Yeah.
Lizelle situation.
Mm-hmm. What about it? Mizell was just, I saw him. I knew what kind of man he was. When he said he was a school teacher or principal, no, he said he was the athletic guy at the gym teacher. I said, and he got those little muscles. I knew he was a ladies' man. I knew it. I met that dude. And that's another thing. You get experience. You get these different type of men. I read him and I told him about himself too. You guys didn't see that on camera. I told him. He's 50, never been married. He's the only one. And then he told me him and his baby mom are friends. They're like girlfriends. And I'm like, oh, what you think? I'm going to be the third one hanging out with them? It's going to be all three of us? Imagine Shareese and two other women. You know it's not going to work. I want to be the only queen in my castle.
I
So
heard that. I heard it.
but I do think that Lizelle, in other words, he definitely was interested. He played himself though. He played himself big time. He played himself.
Because he tried to come back for you.
And then he thought, yes, of course he did. And then he thought he was going around saying that he hurt me. I'm like, dude, how could you hurt me? Like there's no way I have any feelings for you.
Oh, did you see? Did you a girl? Did you see the thing on Crystal XO?
Oh, his
The girl.
girlfriend. He
The
got a
girlfriend of
girlfriend.
what? He got a girlfriend. He had a whole
But see,
girlfriend. Come
that's what
on.
I'm saying. That's why us women, we go on these shows and we're so guarded because we don't never know what's going to come out afterwards. This is the second time. Because remember, before it was Zoe's girlfriend. Now my
Mm-hmm.
Zoe's girlfriend. And that's what happens. And then people use the excuse, well, I was still dating. Yeah, Lizelle. He tried it. But I wasn't having it. And I definitely wasn't upset. But it was just when I was about to give him a chance. But I had no idea him and Renisha was talking.
Can I ask you a question? Because
Mhm.
I ain't gonna lie to you, yeah. I thought it was a little bit cheeky. I can't lie to
Yeah.
you what Vern did. Because I felt like she didn't consult you at first. She waited till after he had already spoken or anything like that. She could have easily messaged you first and said, hey, before I take his number, old boy's trying to give me his number, before that. I thought it was a little bit cheeky personally. So I want to know from your perspective, did you feel it was a little bit cheeky that she did that? Or was it just I know you didn't care for him, so it's not really a big deal like that, but I'm just saying like,
Yeah, I
it's
was
the
thrown
rules.
off guard.
You know
I
what I mean?
thought that she would have told me before then. I was a little off guard. I wasn't expecting for her to say that. I had no idea. But again, it's how did she say her perspective? It was free game.
Mm,
So
I was a bit wrong over there.
yeah.
I hear that. I do hear that. Wait, so did you guys have a conversation after that then? So I know she mentioned it to you, but did you guys talk about it after again, or you just kind of left it?
Just kind of left it because I mean at that point I had already done chosen Maurice and it was definitely not, but I never went to her and said, hey, why didn't you tell me? Or because I just felt like it wasn't worth compromising what she and I had. You know what I mean? I didn't want to end up in another confrontation over something
I'll get you
that
saying.
didn't mean anything to me anyway,
Okay, I get you. You ready? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That could have
There's no point.
caused a confrontation that clearly I didn't need any more of them.
No, I get that. I definitely get that. I definitely get that. I think we all thought it was a little bit cheeky on her part to kind of do that. So I definitely understand that as well. Definitely understand that.
Yeah.
But at the end, as you said, some people are still out here in these streets, but you left them correctly behind, and you chose correctly, and chose a great guy who seems to make you smile and make you happy and make you just light up. You know what I mean? Like every time you talk about him, we just feel this good energy. I see a smile on your face. I see a good energy from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He does
I
make
love
me
that.
smile.
Well, listen, Shareese, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
I did
you.
promise you it'd be 2 hours, and for once in my life, I've actually managed to complete it. So, we appreciate you having you on the show. I know it took some turns and some ups and some downs, and there was some tough conversations in there. But I always appreciate the fact that you never run away from those conversations. You always, come face in front. And telling your truth, whether we agree or don't agree, you always tell your truth, and I really do respect that as always. And I wish you and Maurice good health and good life as well. And I pray that it works out for both of you as well, because you genuinely are smiling a lot, So this is someone who's making you happy, and I want to see that continue as well. All right.
Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
That's right. No problem
I
at all.
got to look at some of these comments. I'm looking.
I mean, they were good. I can't lie to you, they were good. They were good. So
Okay,
you're on a
good.
good track. You know what I mean? You're on a good track.
Good.
But audience members, thank you so much for joining us for the last 2 hours or so. It's been amazing. Shareese has been an absolute great sport. We appreciate her, giving her perspective as well. For those of you who are here, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification on uploads. We appreciate you. And we're gonna get off now. But make sure you guys comment as well on the replay, and we'll see you again for another enthralling conversation. Much love, much appreciation. Bye bye.